Let's review the sentences that will be on the exam. Chapter 6. Number 1. Oculi nostri non valebant, quare agros bellos videre non poteramus. We've got two sentences here, and the two sentences are separated here by the semicolon. The first one, verb, valebant, third person, plural. This is the imperfect active indicative. The subject is oculi, nominative, plural, masculine. Nostri modifies oculi. Eyes, our eyes were not strong. Quare, this is just a conjunction. Quare is the conjunction for which reason? Quare. Agros bellos, this is accusative. Plural, masculine. The beautiful fields to see, non poteramus, first person, plural. Imperfect, active, indicative, main verb. This is the present active infinitive, the complementary infinitive for this sentence. Our eyes were not strong, therefore we were not able to see the beautiful fields. Number 2. Parvus numerus Graecorum cras ibi remanere et amicos adjuare poterit. Your subject, numerus, nominative, singular, masculine. Parvus modifies it. Graecorum, genitive, plural, masculine. Of Greeks, tomorrow, adverb. There, adverb. Now, a small number, third person, singular, future, active, indicative. A small number will be able, a small number will be able to do two things. Will be able to remain, present active infinitive, your complementary infinitive, and will be able to help. This is your present active infinitive. And both of them, this sentence has two complementary infinitives to the verb poterit. A small number of Greeks will be able to remain there and help our friends, your friends. Latin doesn't indicate, so whatever you put is fine. Number 10. Posuntne pecunia otium curas vitae humanae superare. Posuntne, the ne indicates this is a question. Third person plural, present active indicative. Are they able? Who is able? Well, money and leisure. Whoops, this is just one line because it's the subject. Money and leisure, nominative, singular, feminine, and leisure, nominative, singular, feminine. Together they are the subject, the plural subject of the verb posunt. So, are money and leisure able to what? Able to overcome, present active infinitive. To overcome what? The cures, cares, concerns, accusative, plural, feminine. This is the direct object of the complementary infinitive, genitive, singular, feminine, of life. What kind of life? Human life. The sentences from chapter 7. Rex et regina igitur cras non audebunt ibi remanere. Subject, it's a compound subject, the king and queen. This is nominative, singular, masculine. Queen, nominative, singular, feminine. Therefore, tomorrow is the adverb. Non audebunt, third person, plural. Future, active, indicative. Will not dare. Dare what? Complementary infinitive again. Present active infinitive. The complementary infinitive is fine. Therefore, the king and queen, therefore, will not dare to remain there tomorrow. Number 5. Quando homines satis virtutis habebunt. When will, this is the verb is habebunt. The subject is men. When will they, the bu is the sign of the future, third person plural, future, active, indicative. When will they have? When will men have? Nominative, plural, masculine. Enough of virtue, genitive, singular, feminine, of virtus, virtutis. This is used, we do the same thing. I've had enough of that foolishness. I've had enough of that, sometimes we just say. And this is the exact same kind here. When will they have enough of virtue? Now, in English, of course, we would not say enough of virtue, but sometimes we do say enough of. Latin always says enough of. Number 7. Propter mores humanos pacem viram non habebimus. So, because of, on account of, propter takes the accusative, and this is accusative, plural, masculine, humanos modifies it. Propter takes the accusative, it just means on account of, because of the human morals. True peace, accusative, singular, feminine, whereon modifies it. Non habebimus, this is a sign of the future. First person plural, future, active, indicative. On account of human character, we will not have true peace. The sentences from chapter 8. Number 6. In libera civitate adolescentiam agebamus. In libera civitate, agebamus is your verb, first person plural, imperfect, active indicative. We used to do our youthhood, accusative, singular, feminine. This is the direct object. In libera civitate is a prepositional phrase, in plus the ablative. This is ablative, singular, feminine, and libera modifies it. Now this is just an idiom. We would say we spend our youth, and the Romans would say spend, like in money. And I guess if you think about it, that really doesn't make sense. We did, agere is the word to mean do, so it makes a little more sense in Latin. We did our youthhood, our youth, but I think in this case, just common sense prevails. We spent our youth. We spent our youth in a free state, a free country. State, probably a little better. Number 7, regum malum tolerare numquam debemus. Regum malum, I don't even have to analyze the sentence quite yet. I don't have to translate it. I know this is accusative, singular, masculine. Malum modifies it. Tolerare numquam is an adverb that means never. Debemus, debemus, first person plural, present, active, indicative. Tolerare, present active infinitive, the complementary infinitive. We ought never to tolerate a bad king. Now I will say one thing. Notice how Latin, just a curious point, numquam and umquam. Umquam equals ever. Numquam equals never. But notice it's the exact same thing in English. They just put the N in front of the ever part. Just put the N in front of it. Umquam, numquam is exactly parallel to ever and never. Pretty fascinating. Unrelated, I cannot imagine asking that on the exam, but just a curious point since we were at this sentence. Number 8. Post parvam moram multa verba de insidiis scriptorum stultorum scribemus. Post takes the accusative. After a delay, accusative, singular, feminine, following post. Parvam agrees with it. After a small delay, multa verba. Verba is accusative, plural, neuter. Multa modifies that. De insidiis. This is the ablative, plural. Plural, feminine. About the plots, after many words about the plots of genitive, plural, masculine, of the writers. What kind of writers? Stultorum modifies it. Of the foolish writers, we will write. Scribemus. This is very important that E is in this case, in this verb, a third conjugation verb. E is a sign of the future. So it's first person plural. Future, active, indicative. So, after a small delay, we will write many words about the treachery of foolish authors. Notice I haven't modified the word order much. I just put the English in the the verb in earlier like we do in English. That's it. And finally, chapter 9. He igitur illis deabis heri gratias agebant. He is the subject, agebant is the verb. These people, these men, they, so nominative, plural, masculine, they used to, third person plural, imperfect, active indicative, they used to give thanks, gratias, accusative, or they did give thanks, accusative, active, accusative, plural, feminine, to those, with verbs of giving, showing, or telling, is the dative case, the indirect object, dative, plural, feminine, that's for deabis, and illis modifies it. It is your demonstrative pronoun. So we start out with the nominative plural masculine, the demonstrative pronoun, these guys, use substantively, note here, they gave thanks yesterday to those goddesses. Number 4, neuter alteri plenam copiam pecuniae tum dabet. Neither will give. This is nominative, singular, masculine. This is third person, singular. Future, active indicative. What do you expect with verbs of giving, showing, or telling? You expect the dative case. Neuter alteri. Alteri is your dative, singular, masculine, because it is the indirect object. Neither will give to the other a full supply, accusative, singular, feminine, and plenam modifies it, a full supply of money, genitive, singular, feminine. At that time, tum. Tum means at that time. I think we've learned it as then, which most of the time that's perfectly fine. Will give, I think at that time, if then works, use then, because that's, he'll do it then. But he will do it at that time. I think we often use at that time for the future tense of then. Just a thought. I will absolutely, positively accept then as a translation. But I do like this placement here of neither, neuter, to the other. That's just a very nice placement. And now you're asking, why is alteri dative? How does that come up? Remember, that's one of the unus nauta words, and it is the translated declined, alter, altera, alterum. But in the genitive, it's alterius, alterius, and alterius, and alteri, 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 and then it returns back to the normal everyday translation, alterum, alteram, altero, alterum, my mistake. Getting ahead of myself, altero, altera, with a macron, altero. So it is this genitive and dative, and that's the only thing different about these unus nauta adjectives. They're just different in the genitive and dative. So I think that's a lock to be asked on the exam. Neither to the other a full supply of money at that time will give. Number 6, labor Aeneas numquam poterit has copias vincere. Work, will be able, to conquer. This is your complementary infinitive. Complementary infinitive, to analyze it, it's your present active infinitive. This is your subject, nominative, singular, masculine, and this is the verb, third person, singular, future, active indicative. Neither, future imperative, active indicative. My mistake, I'm just looking ahead. It's the future active indicative, let me be clear. The work of one, genitive, singular, masculine. Remember, just like these words above, it is this in the prior sentence, alterius, alterius, alterius. This is the awkward, the unusual, the irregular genitive form of the adjective. The work of one will never be able to conquer these troops. Accusative, plural, feminine. And has is your demonstrative adjective, that modifies it. That's it. Let me know if you have questions. Thanks.